Morning to listen to us on the Call for Code initiative. My name is Seema Kumar. I lead the developer ecosystem team for IBM India, where we work with developer advocates, developer startups, and the larger ecosystem to help build better technology solutions. So I have a very esteemed panel with me today. These are all individuals, organizations who are part of the Call for Code initiative and who have extended their support. So let's do a quick round of introductions. We are starting with you.
Hi, morning everyone. My name is Suyash Mishra. I work for Invest India, which is the Government of India's investment promotion and facilitation agency. Within Invest India, I lead the Startup India team and I am part of the Startup India Hub.
Good morning, welcome to everybody. My name is Sangeeta Gupta. I work as Senior VP at NASSCOM and we're delighted to be here, participating with everybody for this initiative.
Hi, good morning. My name is R. Venkateswaran. I am part of the IoT Solutions Group at Persistent Systems. Persistent Systems is a partner of IBM, so we are very excited to be part of this event.
Hi, my name is Ramchandran Padmanabhan. I head the cloud applications business at Wipro. Very happy to be part of this event where we partnered with IBM.
Hi, good morning. I'm Anurag and I work with Capgemini. Within Capgemini, I head the CSR function and delighted to be here. Thank you.
Okay, so let me begin by giving a brief background and context of what is Call for Code, why the initiative, why it's important to us, and why it is important to every one of us. So Call for Code, this is the first year of a global initiative. This was created by David Clark of David Clark Cause, which is a global organization focused on social causes. We as IBM are proud to be the founding partners of the challenge. Our chairman Ginny Rometty announced this at the Viva Tech event in Paris in May this year. We also have esteemed charitable partners in the form of United Nations Human Rights Organization and the American Red Cross. We also have a lot of open source affiliates like the Linux Foundation who are supporting the cause as well. So we launched, as I said, in May this year. The challenge has been open since then and it runs until the end of September. This is the first time, unlike other hackathons, right? So we are all familiar with various hackathons we announce for developers to solve interesting problems, interesting solutions. This is meant to really look at larger social problems, global problems. Developers, we believe, have a lot of power, right, in the talent and the skills that they carry. By using technology, using the power of the applications that they build to really impact human lives, to really save human lives and give back to society. So there are around 22 million developers around the world in various organizations. They work for IT companies, they work for startups, they're students, they're educators. India is one of the second largest with close to around 4 million developers. And we see this as a very unique opportunity for them to really express that talent and build solutions that matter. So every year we will pick a cause and these will be aligned to the United Nations SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. And this year we picked the cause of natural disasters. So we live in a world which is impacted by extreme climatic changes, extreme weather conditions, some of it which is not in our control, right? But we can always do a lot in terms of better preparing and mitigating the losses. A lot of, if you look at the last 17 years, right, and if you look at 2017 in particular, the impact of natural disasters has been the highest across the globe and in particular in India as well. We've also seen it hit home closer in the recent past with the floods in India, in the southern part of India. So why not pick that as the area, right, as a problem to solve? Look at what technical solutions can be built, right? And today you have advanced technologies like AI, blockchain, the Internet of Things, all of which can be stitched together in interesting ways, right? To equip the organizations who are either aiding in relief, who are preparing for the disaster, so on and so forth. So that is the course that we have picked, and since the announcement in May until now, we have seen a lot of interest coming from various parts of the ecosystem across the globe. We also offered the option to have several organizations join us as program supporters and as sponsors as well. So, and these are organizations who believe in the cause as well, who also, in certain cases, they also have a huge developer population within these organizations, and thereby empowering their employees as well, right, to give back to that, to give back to this particular challenge. So I would pause here, and I would like to invite some of our primary supporters, especially in India, who are actively participating in the initiative. So first and foremost, I have Persistent Systems, which is a sponsor, right? So Persistent is one of our goal sponsors, and they have done some unique things internally in their organization to help us with this initiative. So I will let you, Venkat, to say a few words.
Sure. Thanks, Seema, for that. So, first of all, it's a privilege to be part of this event and be a partner and be a board sponsor of this global initiative. We believe that we can make a global impact as technologists. Persistent as a company, we really pride ourselves as being one of the technology leaders, and we invest in upcoming and promising technologies way ahead of the technology curve. And hackathon as a concept is not new to us. We have been doing hackathons for internal our developer teams. We've been doing hackathons for our customers. And on the national level, we have been the driving force behind the Smart India Hackathon last year and this year. So we've always been believed in the power of hackathon to bring out innovative technologies. We believe that it can nurture out-of-the-box thinking. It can help the developers come up with solutions that would probably, the format itself kind of enables a lot of new ways of doing things with technology. Having said that, it's not just the innovation part, it's also now, we believe that it's going to be an integral part of the new way of software development, what we creatively call as Software 4.0. Along with, you hear about design thinking, you hear about agile development. So hackathons is just one way of doing things differently. So as technologists, one of the things that really all developers really get excited about is, of course, they are passionate about technology, but when they can take this technology and create something that has a global impact, that can impact a larger section of the society, then it creates a tremendous amount of excitement and passion. And that's what we try to build upon. So coming back to the problem at hand, we're talking about disaster management. It's not just about disaster management, we're being prepared for disasters. How do we work towards, during the time of the disaster, how do we help the relief workers, the rescue workers, how do we help the impacted people? It's a challenge across, and then of course the aftermath of the disaster, that also is a big challenge. Once the disaster is over, there's still a lot of activities that happen, that need to happen in terms of rehabilitating the affected people, in terms of providing maybe alternate employment, whatever it is that is needed to get them up to speed on their feet fairly quickly. So what we did as part of this program at Persistent is we solicited ideas across the company. We are a global company, so across the globe we got a lot of ideas. So we wanted to focus on the quality as opposed to the quantity. So we did an internal assessment pretty much focused on about 20-25 ideas globally and said let's take that forward. We conducted an internal hackathon for 12 hours, one in India time zone, for our offices in India, mainly Pune where we are headquartered, Bangalore, Nagpur and Goa. Then we did a similar event across the globe for in the American time zone, the North American time zone, for our centers in Mexico and North America. So once these two, we just got them done on Friday. We got good support from the IBM team to help mentor the participants and also to assess the final outcome of it. Now that we have identified some of the areas that we want to focus on, we want to obviously club all of it together so that the impact can be much more than just single individual ideas. So we want to take a combination of multiple ideas to create an end-to-end impact. Again, focus more on the quality as opposed to the number of ideas in terms of quantity. So that's where we are, and we look forward to now submitting the final idea. We have still got a month to go, and we want to obviously expand on what we have already achieved and make sure that we have something that is very, very meaningful. It has a significant impact, and it can really make a change that we are looking forward to.
Thank you. Thanks, Venkat. So, along with Persistent, we also have a few of our SI partners like Wipro or Ramchandran. You want to say a few words in terms of how Wipro is leading?
Sure. I think so. Obviously, the entire cause itself is a very noble one, right? So, from a Wipro perspective, obviously, we've been Bedrock in terms of really making sustainability a core part of our values that we actually bring on to any of the work that we actually do, right? What we have actually done, obviously, we have been majorly impacted with a lot of these natural disasters that have actually happened earlier in Chennai, and then in Houston, and now in Kerala, where our Kochi center also was part of the entire disaster. So what we've really done as a part of the initiative with IBM is to really help our developers understand as to how the technology can really understand the root cause of what is happening on ground. Tied up with Wipro Cares, it's a non-profit organization where we have really all our volunteers that are there understanding as to what the problems are. We have now close to about 600 odd people who have actually really registered, and this happened about 3 weeks before the actual disaster happened. And now I see quite a number of interest that is actually already coming in, right? And we feel that a lot of the ideations that actually really come out can be really crowdsourced, and it's really important that we take this and really make technology as a way to improve the lives. So happy to be part of that. We are thinking about taking that initiative to our crowdsourcing platform, which is the Topcoder, which has about 1.2 million developers that are there globally, which actually are able to provide us a lot of the ideations that are actually coming across and see in terms of how we take this further.
Thank you. Anurag, you want to add as well?
For me, when I look at a challenge like Call for Code, I also look at a country of ours which is huge both in terms of size and also in terms of number of people who are there. And unfortunately, every year we witness some kind of natural disaster, whether it's flood, drought. And the uniqueness with India is that you'll have one part of India reeling under drought and one part of India reeling under a flood. And in this particular situation, I feel tech companies like IBM, Capgemini, Wipro, Persistent, other joining hand and looking at how we can use the human capital which exists within our with us, how this particular human capital can reach out, develop solutions based on technology which can enable the workers, enable the people who are involved in the natural disaster and save lives, save resources. In this particular context, Capgemini strongly support Call for Code, and that's where we ran our Tech Siesta. We saw around 1,000 plus people registering for this particular initiative, being mentored by leadership where 40 or plus teams are working on finding solutions which will enable the communities to handle disaster in a much more better, efficient manner, which will, in the sense, save lives, save loss of property, and also in the sense help during when you're doing your relief operation or post disaster the reconstruction activities. We feel strongly that application like this, challenge like this, competition like this will enable the human resources work with us to use their expertise to develop something which will be hugely beneficial to communities. And bringing in CSR is another element that we have done at the Capgemini level, where we thought that there is a huge implication for people who are economically or socially challenged due to natural disaster, and application which will enable them to become active participant in the natural disaster scenario will certainly will be a huge contribution from the CSR side. And looking at the role that competition like this will play, will in a way also change the character in which CSR is being used these days, because largely what we also see that there are companies who may be using this as a purely from charity point of view, but we have largely seen that IT companies use CSR also as a avenue to create solutions which will benefit communities in a big manner, and that's where we see a huge connect with Call for Code, and that's the reason why we are from Capgemini side we feel very happy being part of this particular endeavor.
Thank you. So while we work with the industry, right, another critical piece of the puzzle is also in terms of the new age solutions, right? And we also work with a lot of startups in that way. India again is one of the leading countries, right, in terms of innovative startups who are building solutions not just from a business perspective but also from a social perspective. And we are very privileged to have Invest India, Startup India, from Startup India, Suyash representing and helping us not just with support but also sharing some perspective, right? How do you see startups playing a role in this particular thing?
Sure. So, I mean, first of all, congratulations for IBM and for all the other companies and entities that are here to support this. I think this is really the need of the hour, notwithstanding what really happened, a few days ago in Kerala. So primarily, I'll just briefly talk about what we really do. So under the Startup India Action Plan, which was launched by our PM 2.5 years ago, he set up a small entity called the Startup India Hub. So it's essentially a small group of people drawn from the startup ecosystem who work and support the government in kind of creating a stronger ecosystem. How we do that is by resolving queries. There's a lot of people that look up to us in terms of, I have an idea, what should I do? I have this product, I want to sell to this particular customer, I need funding, and so we resolve those queries. We work with startups, we work with entities from across the ecosystem, so with corporates, with investors, with incubators, with industry bodies like NASSCOM, FICCI, with state governments as well as central government departments. And we kind of help them engage with startups in a meaningful manner, where it's beneficial for the startup and for the entity, whether it's from an investment point of view, whether it's actually promoting startups or rather buying from startups. Now, in this particular case, when it comes to disaster management, the first sort of protocol is always government, and it's the role of the government to not only prevent or be prepared for disasters, but when it happens, really provide relief. And a lot of innovative solutions are available already out there, and through such initiatives, more will come. But then, how do we ensure that it's actually reaching to in this case, say the customer? And in such cases, it's the government which is really at the forefront of ensuring. So through some of these initiatives, and obviously through some cases where we've helped specific government departments in finding good innovative startups and help them engage with it. I'll give you an example. We ran an online challenge with the Ministry of Agriculture, where they came up to us and said, these are our 12 problem areas, and help us find good startups. So we put it out in the community. We run a community platform called the Startup India Hub, which is about 2.5 lakh innovators, startups, a few hundred incubators, investors, mentors. And so essentially we use that to reach out to the startup community, not only in the metros, but really in the tier 2, tier 3 cities as well. And then we kind of get these startups, we tell them that, listen, this is what is required. This is how you can be part of rolling out solutions and products to customers. And then that's a process. So, to my mind, this is a fantastic initiative. I already can think of a couple of startups. Just yesterday, I was sitting with a startup called Quidditch. It's a drone startup, and we were discussing the drone policy, which is recently our minister launched yesterday itself. And we were just talking about, how, in fact, there were some use cases where drones were used in Kerala just last week to aid, direct relief and personnel. And so, rather than, leaning on the Navy and the Air Force and the Army for providing choppers, why don't, we have drones to do this? Couple of days ago, we had another startup that is miniaturized sort of pollution monitoring station. So I think they told us it costs about $150,000 to set up one. So, in a city like Delhi, there's 5 locations. But then this startup has miniaturized it, and it has these small hardware devices that you can literally hang on lampposts, and you're hyper-localizing data collection, and then you use that and you add a data layer and an algorithm to it, and you predict things like, okay, tomorrow morning don't go out for a jog, it's going to be really bad. And so that really also helps save lives. So we are kind of providing this platform for say customers, whether it's IBM, whether it's a government department, and startups to kind of be on this one page and actually work together to solve such large problems. So yeah, it's fantastic. If there's any good solutions, we are very happy to take them to relevant government departments and actually have them, pitch it to them, and then figure out a way of how they can actually be rolled out, whether it's a pilot, whether it's actually a full-scale rollout. So that's something that we're very happy to do, and it's something that we hear a lot from senior officers within the government saying, okay, how can we get good solutions very quickly, and that's something that startups can do quite easily. So yeah.
Great. Thanks, Suyash, for giving both the startup and the government perspective. I think the key thing is some of these innovations with help, like organizations like yours, it really takes them from just being an idea into actually being deployed somewhere. So I was speaking about the experience that we had, not just educating people about the program, inviting people to participate, and as a result, we had the opportunity, our team had the opportunity to go to several cities across India, doing, call for code days, as we were calling it, right? And we had developers coming from startups, students, IT industry, all coming together and, building solutions. And some of these solutions are very hyper-local, some of them can be applied not just in India, in other countries as well. At an IBM, and one of the things about natural disasters per se is you need solutions that can scale, you need the right kind of data. So we've been offering the access to the cloud platform to build the solutions. We've opened up the weather data from the weather company on the platform, so they use the weather data to do predictive analytics and build better solutions. And helping us spread the word and really bringing the industry together has been one partner, which is NASSCOM, right, which has helped us not just do some of these activations in various spaces where we may not be present as IBM, right, but also extend and making it their initiative as much as ours as well, I would say. So something that I would like you to share.
Thank you, Seema, and once again, congratulations on this phenomenal initiative. I think as NASSCOM, we're delighted to be a part of such an important initiative. And I think more importantly, this is an ecosystem initiative, right? This is about companies like IBM, Wipro, Persistent, Capgemini. It's about the relief organizations. It's about different charitable organizations that work, Invest India, the government, NASSCOM. I think so. It's truly a representative of what can make an initiative successful rather than one organization trying to do it on their own. I think it's been said enough that we're living in an era of exponential change where technology is redefining how we work, collaborate, consume. And I think digital technologies are potentially playing a much more important role than what they did a few years back. It also, I think, provides an important platform for us to leapfrog innovation for social good. I think I was reading an article before which says technology can reach where humans can't in time of natural disasters. Right? And I think that is what this initiative is all about. Can we create solutions that would help us reach, access, provide relief that is needed, provide aid when it is needed, and potentially, I think over a period of time, even with the stuff that the weather company is doing and other technology companies are doing, predict ahead of time, right? So we don't always are solving what is happening, but also predict and take action against that. So clearly, I think as NASSCOM, we're very delighted to partner with IBM for an initiative like this. I also think there's so much more to do, right? I think we're doing a little bit, but there's just so much more to do. And I think from a NASSCOM perspective, we have 3 different stakeholders that we think can partner for an initiative like this. One is the developer ecosystem that Seema spoke about. Right? India has 4 million developers. They are creating solutions for global companies, for Indian companies. They have the capability, they have the know-how, they know how to code. Right? I think it's about time we give them solutions that would create a passion amongst them to code for change, code for impact. I think that to us is one very important community. And together with IBM in July, we ran a series of roadshows across different cities in the country. We had some 2,000 plus developers who participated, 1,000 plus students who participated. And I think the seeds of that change have been laid down. I think we feel we can do much more than this. I think the second community is the partner community, given this is an ecosystem initiative. 3 of our members are here already today. I think the NASSCOM has 2,500 companies that are members of NASSCOM. We work with IBM and other partners to get many of our members and hence their developers to engage in an initiative like this. And I think that is how we will look to take this forward. And I think third is also Suyash talked about the startups and I think the important innovations that they are creating. NASSCOM runs a very successful 10,000 startup program where we have some very interesting startups that are creating solutions that can be leveraged and supported to be able to get to the level where change is needed. I think again that's a platform we would look to leverage for initiatives like this. I think lastly, I just want to mention that Kerala has seen floods that have wreaked havoc, have created a lot of loss of lives, property damage. And I think while our companies and NASSCOM are supporting what they can through individual efforts, through volunteering, through contributions, as NASSCOM and IBM, we're also partnering to run a 2-day Call for Code initiative in Kerala, where senior technical experts are going to be available to provide guidance to students, developers, startups, to code for providing the right solutions, creating solutions that can have the impact or change that is needed for the current environment, as well as for the future as many such issues do not take place. Thank you so much, Seema. Look forward to taking this forward, not only for this year, but I think as this initiative goes out.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Thanks, Amrita. So with that, I guess we've given our comments and we can open it up for any questions that you may have for us.